Why, hello, and welcome to issue 688 of Geek in the Studio Radio. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Duran.
I am your other host, Beanarito. And that's it.
That's
no
it.
more hosts.
That's it. What's shaking, everybody? Yeah, we had some things. Well,
We had some stuff come up.
no, I'm sorry. I wasn't hiding that, to say something. It's that I just chugged a Diet Coke and immediately went to a sparkly hop water. So there's buildup, as it were, and I didn't want it to come out in mid.
No, I knew that. I was going to cover for you.
Oh no! What? What's the point? Everyone by now knows that I'm just this trash human that just puts it all out on Front Street. I never, unless you specifically tell me you probably shouldn't talk about that, I'm gonna end up talking about it. Yeah, Cable's not here. We were gonna play Jaws. It is technically a 2-player game, but if it's the first time playing it, it's too hard for 2 people. Because essentially on the Jaws board game, it's 2 to 4 players. One person plays the shark, and then the other 3 players play Hooper, Quint, and Brody. But if you only have 2 players, the other player plays all 3 of them, and that's a lot if you've never played the game before.
Right. And that doesn't seem like it would be a lot of fun for people to listen to / watch.
Yeah, because half the fun of Jaws is of the game, and it is a really fun game. I recommend it. Hopefully we will get to play it sometime. Half the fun of that game is watching the 3, non-shark players decide what to do and how to do it and how to pull shit off. So, yeah.
I kind of thought that it was going to be more like a pandemic board game style,
Mm-mm.
where you were playing against the game.
No, it's one against all kind of thing. The concept's cool because it's done in 2 acts. So Act 1 is Amity Island. And basically, if you're the shark, you want to eat 10 swimmers. If you eat 10 swimmers, you activate Act 2. Or if the humans get 2 barrels on the shark, that also activates Scene 2 or Act 2. And Act 2 is on the orca with different power cards, different everything. And then it's all 3 against the shark. And the shark can either kill all of you or sink the orca. It is really fun. It's a lot of fun. I've played it many times now, so we'll get to it sometime on the show for sure.
I mean, it's such a fun movie.
And it's well, it is a fun movie.
I wouldn't describe it as fun. It's not
really
fun. To me, has connotations of being lighthearted and amusing. And I mean, I'm not dissing on Jaws. I love Jaws, but I wouldn't call it a fun movie.
I guess. I mean, I have fun watching it.
I have a good time watching it. Just not a fun time. I don't know, man.
Okay, that's fine. I get it. I might watch that when we get home. So it also might be a slightly shorter show because Bean and I, this is what was planned. But yeah, Cable's got to deal with some stuff that it was better that he take care of things that needed to be taken care of.
Yes.
Yes. Everyone's okay. I'm trying to, because I know I'll get is Cable okay or is Merrick okay? That. That's all. It's not even us for to say. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. How are you?
Yep. No. Yeah. Nothing.
Everything's good. We're fine.
Nothing to see here.
No.
Right. So now we have to pull a show out of the proverbial bag without without a lot of heads up.
Well, I mean, it's some downer news that we can talk about. We lost Lance Reddick a few days ago.
Crazy.
And they still haven't released what it was. They keep saying natural causes. I mean, who knows? Because he seemed like he was in super good health.
I know, right? He, lean and powerful.
Yeah, and you know what? Even when I was in my 20s, 60 seemed very young. But now that I'm my age, 60 seems extra young. But 60 is too young. That's crazy young, I feel like.
Yes, especially for someone who seemed to be in good health.
Yeah, exactly. I did see this was kind of bittersweet. So I think he did a TikTok video the day before he passed away about how he had a few breaks from the John Wick 4 press tour, and he was my wife's not home, children or whatever, pets have all been walked. You know what that means. and he grabbed his his computer and he said, "It means Destiny 2."
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Yeah,
more recently than that the news of his passing. That the night before he died, he was playing Destiny.
Yeah, and
big
then in the
Destiny.
game, players held like a vigil for him.
That is so
like
precious.
At this, I think the Citadel or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was really cool because he was also a voice in the game too.
Right.
Also a voice in Mass Effect games. Like, yeah, just an incredible voice actor. People are gonna remember. Most people are gonna remember him from The Wire. I mean, that was where like all big things came from. It was The Wire.
For me, it was Fringe.
Okay.
And I don't know if that came before or after The Wire because I don't really know when The Wire came out. I only watched it a few years ago. So that was the first big thing I'd ever seen him in.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people now know him from John Wick, where he's Sharon. He is the keeper of the river, basically.
Remind me what that role is exactly.
If I remember correctly, Sharon controls the boat down the river Styx into your afterlife. Like he guides you. Which is why he's the first person you meet when you make your descent into the Continental.
Oh, I
He's
see.
the concierge.
I gotcha.
I just saw another interview with him when they had asked him, like, what inspired him to play this character, what he wanted to do, because they kept talking about like John Wick uses a lot of myths and symbolisms, and he talks about how he drew upon the myths and stuff, but that his primary influence for his character in John Wick was Hector Alonso in Pretty Women, the hotel concierge. Because that's one of those things, though. If you're at a real high-end hotel and you are the hotel concierge, like you actually have to be good at a lot of shit and speak different languages and know different traditions and customs. Like that's kind of a high-profile gig.
Right.
That's up there with my weird obsession with going to butler school, which I think we talked about a few nights ago.
I was just going to say, where does that line up with your whole dream of buttling?
Pretty close. I see them as very similar roles, actually. Yeah, I don't think I've ever said it on the show, but I have had this weird... There's this weird appeal to me to going to butler school and to become a butler, a gentleman's gentleman kind of thing. And not just because I enjoy ironing and, having good creases when I do iron. Not that I've ever ironed money. That would be weird.
You've absolutely
ironed money before.
I know you have.
And it's so pleasing. I put in between two damp towels too, because you don't want to scorch anything.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not paper. They're technically fabric. So
yeah, but they're so thin. You want it. You want the damp towel keeps them flat. If you just hit them with it, it'll kind of go. It'll curl up a little bit.
I know I'm giving you a hard time, but when I was in AIT, which is your occupational school after basic training, for those who don't know, they start like upping the stuff that they expect from you, and one of the things that changes from the first phase to the next phase of schooling is that you have to start ironing your BDUs, your camo, and polishing your boots, which maybe we polished our boots in basic training, but I don't remember having done so. And so Sundays were your choring day in the barracks. So all your stuff is ready for the week. You do your laundry, you do your ironing and your starching and your polishing. And you know me, I can get like really excited about just about anything. And so I was really into all of those tasks. It's very cathartic, like you can think and talk while you're working, and you get the pleasure of, producing a nice crisp blouse. I like it.
When I was a kid and my dad worked as a prison guard, they didn't have to, but it was highly recommended for them to have their shoes polished, just as their standard guard uniform. A lot of them didn't, because as a rule, most guards were people who couldn't pull off the police academy. Sorry, everyone out there. My dad took that job because it was the best paying job in Susanville, which is why most people took that job.
Right.
But I used to love to shine all of his shoes. Like he would do it sometimes, but like the full like spit shine because you have to, oh yeah, and I can still do the buffering, all that stuff.
Oh, you did a spit shine.
At the time, yeah, I don't know what I would do now, but that was the stuff that he like the oils he would use, like that thick paste. Yeah.
I was a Lincoln wax.
What's Lincoln wax?
It's a particular brand that everyone always said was the superior shoe wax.
I'm gonna look it up. It's called Lincoln wax.
Yep. And it comes black. It does. They call it wax, but it is a little bit more of a pasty, spreadable texture.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It comes in colors like brown and black for the color of your shoe, and you just keep buffing it in. You keep buffing it in until your boots are shining.
Yeah, this isn't one he had, but it looks very similar. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked doing like all of that. I enjoy getting stains out.
I do not enjoy that.
I had to get good at it because I just always try to be like a non-sloppy eater. I really, really do. And the other problem is if I don't wear an apron all the time, even when I'm cleaning the kitchen, I'll splash shit all over me. And all of a sudden, like there's a little bit of like salad dressing oil in this bowl and water hits it. And like the oil hits so, that's a weird thing
there. As we know, I cannot effectively do laundry, so that's not my area.
Yeah.
But now I know that it's not just because I'm a piece of shit. It actually is like a really big one for people with ADHD. You get the laundry started, you need clean clothes.
Yeah.
But as soon as you walk away from the now, starting up machine, it doesn't exist anymore. It is literally out of sight, out of mind, right? If you're not actively going into the laundry room,
yeah, but doesn't
your laundry area,
doesn't your alarm go off when it's done? Unless you turn it off, I guess.
No, it goes off. The chances that my hands are free or that I'm not like preoccupied with something when that happens are pretty nil. And even if I wasn't otherwise occupied, there's always going to be a reason that I'm like, okay, I'll go do that in 1 minute, in just a second.
Okay.
And then that second never comes.
Laundry is my least favorite of the household chores, like without a doubt. And it's not the washing. Here's the weird thing. I enjoy the feel of a perfectly folded shirt, like aesthetically when I look at them. Mm-hmm. I like seeing them that way. Mm-hmm. I can't stand folding clothes. Can't stand it. Drives me bonkers because it feels like out of all the domestic tasks, it feels like the most Sisyphean. Even though by default they all are. They all are, but that one is the one that feels the worst. The worst.
That is interesting. I do like folding laundry. It smells good. It's warm.
I like that part.
But good luck getting me to do it. Good luck letting me get it to the dryer.
So
I've had to wash the
I'll
same
wash
load.
and dry yours, but then you can fold. Like we'll come up with something like that.
Well, Christian loves to do laundry and he is on it. The moment the buzzer goes off, he is ready to start folding laundry. Yeah. Or transferring from the washer to the dryer.
Right. I think the only thing I miss about having carpet, we're just going to go down this like nerdy ass rap. If we get some questions, we'll answer them. So yeah, fire off in the chat too. Seriously.
I do see you guys. I gotta wait for an opening.
Yeah. The one thing I miss, there's two things I miss about having carpet. In the winter when your foot touches the hardwood or the tile in the morning, it's fucking cold. It's cold. But having had dogs, I'm also glad I don't have carpet anymore. But what I miss a lot are vacuum cleaner lines.
I will never forget. I don't know where I read this or like under what circumstances, but it was probably a list of like very simple and or quick things that you can do that make your house look instantly way, way cleaner. So low effort, high reward.
Okay.
And vacuuming was on that list.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. Some reason why I ever like I don't really ever want to have a lawn now because they're bullshit. But I love they are. But I love when the lines you can make when you're lawn mowing. Those perfect fucking lines, like they're so nice. Yeah. I don't mind doing windows. I never understand that whole gag, whatever. I don't do windows. Like, what's so hard about cleaning your windows? It's not hard.
No.
It's just a squeegee and you rub it. It's like, why is it hard?
But that's another one of those things. So we've been like cleaning up the house a bunch and like we had the painting and all of that.
Right.
At some point I realized I'm like, oh, you know what I haven't done in a long time? Clean the windows.
Yeah.
My friend, I am telling you right now that I am pretty certain that I have not cleaned the windows in a couple years.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't either.
Okay. I feel like cleaning the windows or like, doing the mirrors is something that's supposed to happen regularly. But again, there's nothing driving me to remember to do it. So I've gone years without cleaning a window.
I haven't cleaned our windows in at least 2 years. But when I do it, I'm always like, why did I put this off? It's not
so
hard.
Quick and easy.
It's done. The one thing that is hard is cleaning the fucking screens.
Yo, that's nasty. I don't
the rails and the screens.
I don't even want to do it. It's so nasty in there. And then like, it's got to come out. All that shit's got to come out. You can't just like vacuum it up and never have to look at it.
I know.
You're going to end up touching it. It's going to be nasty.
I have gloves. Don't you have gloves?
I do now.
Okay.
I have never owned house cleaning gloves. Gloves.
I haven't bought house cleaning gloves in a while. I used to own them.
So then what do you mean you use
Well,
gloves?
ever since I got it, and by the way, I don't think I've said this in the show. I've gotten into trying to teach myself to make my own resin cast dice, which is fun.
I don't think you have mentioned.
I still can't get all the air bubbles out. And I know there's tricks. And the other main trick is buy a pressure pot. I was like, well,
that seems expensive.
Yeah, give me $300. Sure. I'm not dumping, I've already dumped hundreds, thousands of dollars on one like hobby for home brewing. I'm not doing it again for dice. So I'll just find other ways. Anyway, when you work with resin, you should have gloves on. So I bought like a big like nurse's pack of like nitrate. Those little nitrate gloves. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That seems wasteful to me. To use disposable gloves every time
probably
I do some housework.
It probably is. The hardest thing for me is to find it's very hard for me to find the right size of cleaning gloves because as a rule,
they make them small for lady hands.
Them small for lady hands. A lot of things like your nails won't puncture through for delicate hands. And I'm like, I said, where do the beefy women, where do they go to get there? They're Russian bear fighting women. Where do they get their gloves at? That's what I need.
Where do you? Never mind.
I haven't gone shopping for them in a while, so I couldn't tell you where I'd go.
I bet Home Depot would have
probably
like go over by where the Traeger supplies are.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't want barbecue gloves; those are different. And I used to have.
But I'm sure that they have other options besides the black nitrile, whatever. Also, why is that their thing?
What?
Like, you see a guy wearing black gloves. You wait for it. Here comes the Traeger.
Really?
You've never heard that?
No. Not to upset Norm. I don't really follow barbecue culture, or like if I own a Traeger, that'd be cool.
That here so much.
Not really. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a Traeger, but mainly because they're like the set it and forget it of barbecues, right? Is it just pellets and?
I have no idea.
I think you just put pellets in.
I thought it was just a particular brand.
It is a brand, but they're like pellets.
Only they don't do charcoal. Or,
I don't know. I think
only wood fire. I don't know how.
Well, they're wood pellets.
Okay, right. And does it work like a wood pellet stove? Where there's like that little machine that keeps pumping.
The little auger.
Yeah. I had a boyfriend whose parents' house had a pellet stove, and it was so satisfying to watch the little pellets going.
Yeah, we used to have one. I feel like there was a time in the late 80s, early 90s where like everyone was converting to pellet stoves. I don't know why. And then it all kind of went away. Probably
because they claimed it was like a cleaner burning material.
Yeah, Norm just said, they're the easy bake ovens of barbecue. Yeah, no, you don't have, this is going to make people that listen to this that use Traegers angry. I don't think you need to have skill when you use a Traeger. You put in the temp, the flavored wood pellets, and you kind of walk away.
If that's their deal, is you just turn it to a particular setting and walk away.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean,
you may have to baste it, or
you still need to know like
whatever.
flavor. But
sure,
I'm pretty sure like you can make a delicious brisket just by smoking.
Oh yeah,
the brisket.
Just
like,
use salt and pepper, you'd be good.
Yeah. Although white people don't like using salt and pepper, so I don't know.
I feel like white people that are
into.
I feel like white people that are into the barbecue scene. I do believe they are the exception to whitey.
So you can still mess it up if you are bad at understanding flavor profiles and how to combine them.
Yeah.
Because your Traeger is not going to fuck it up for you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying I'd be good at it. I have a smoker, but it's an electric one, where I again put in wood chips. I set the time, and I only have to like check the chips now and then.
Oh, well, Norm says you kind of do need to know shit. He did his first brisket, and he thought they were going to come pull his barbecue card.
Yeah, but Norm's really hard on himself when it comes to barbecue.
That's a good point.
He came out here one time with somebody else's barbecue and apologized because it didn't reheat the way he wanted it to reheat. And he was like, I brought shame on myself and my friend who made it. I'm like, dude, chill. You brought like Texas barbecue across the country.
It was some bomb-ass barbecue.
And it was so good, but he kept it. I remember Katie was like, Norm, stop. No one's talking because they're eating. Yeah.
What are they called? The tips? The
burnt ends.
The burnt ends. Mm-hmm. Norm, I dream about those burnt ends.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, I feel like Southerners season their food regardless of their color.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just the further north you go, the spice does not flow. You know.
It's because they don't have that desert power.
Right.
Stupid.
How did we get onto barbecues?
Gloves.
Yeah, gloves.
Right. Cleaning gloves. Which I only recently was like, why don't I own cleaning gloves? Because I'm in charge of the bathroom and I hate it. So you put it off, mm-hmm. and it only makes it worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
So it finally occurred to me, this would be much less awful if you had cleaning gloves to use when you clean the bathroom. Maybe now you'll clean it more.
That is true. I wish I had cleaning gloves for that. But I also I'm just going to rant after rant.
Mm-hmm.
I get really annoyed, and this is a bigger conversation about toxic masculinity.
Mm.
I get really annoyed when I do find like cleaning products that fit me, like, the gloves and stuff or whatever. Like when they fit me, they're always like made for a man with the tactical camo. I'm like, I don't need fucking matte black cleaning gloves or like camo. I said, actually, I would like to have like the blaze pink so I don't lose them. Like when I worked at Zipcar, we were always going through like phone chargers and shit. And I was always buying like the bright pink or like the neon green. And they're like, why do you do that? I said, because you guys lose those black ones. You can't see them. I said, I need sheet that says like, I'm here.
I used to do the same thing when I was, again, in the Army. When you're in garrison, you wear cook whites.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone looks the same. I mean, in any Army uniform, everyone looks the same.
Yes, that's why it's called uniform.
Yes, yeah, it's right there in the word. Just break it down. And as part of your, your gear that you need, like you're not supposed to wear your dog tags because they might get caught in the Hobart and then you'll get your head ripped off. And you're always supposed to have a pen and. Probably, but it's still a safety thing that they.
No, I get it.
Don't ever wear your dog tags in the kitchen. You'll get your something ripped off. I don't know. And you always have to have a pen and some Post-its because as soon as the food gets any leftovers get put up, you got to label them, item and date.
Mm-hmm.
For rules. And I used to always buy those really nice pens. They were like the coolest pens back then. That they were really fat.
Mm-hmm.
They had a clip. They were push button.
Yeah.
And they had that jelly.
Was it
where you hold
the
it?
big gel? Oh, yeah.
Yes. And those were expensive pens. So I would always buy them in pink because that way I would know that's my fucking pen.
Right.
Also, it was like one pop of color in like head to toe, black and white.
It was your piece of flair.
Yep.
Hey, what does the army do with leftovers? It's not like you're packing a sack lunch for people the next day.
You are allowed to reheat to the proper temperature and serve again leftovers one time.
Like the next day.
The next meal, even. Like if you've got lunch leftovers, you could serve them.
They're like, bitches, you're getting spaghetti again.
Well, no. You'd still make the new meal. There's a solid meal plan. And when I did it, I would go a month out.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, we're not going to make this today because we have too many leftovers of this.
Right.
No, you build a meal plan based on head count.
All right.
You take account of how many people come to your dining facility at every meal. And so you always have an idea of how much food you need to make.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when you make a couple options, like dinner will have 2 meats, 2 or 3 vegetables, at least 1 starch. And then there's all these other sides and salad and all this and that. There's gonna be leftovers. So yeah, you're allowed to reheat them to a proper temperature one time and serve it. And then after that, if there's any left, you throw it away. So if you have a ton left over, you would only want to reheat some, and you can save the other stuff for a different meal because you are only supposed to keep it for like 24 hours, if I recall.
Now there's random shit in my head. Did you guys have like separate stations or cooks for kosher or halal food?
No.
And also, are there vegetarians in the army? Are there vegans?
I don't feel like, I feel like maybe I knew one vegetarian when I was,
because you're burning calories, even if you don't have the most impactful job. I feel like
more often I would see the more specific food restrictions, like my friend Melanie, she doesn't eat pork.
Yeah, Ryan can't have shellfish.
And my staff sergeant, I believe he was actually Muslim. He didn't eat pork either.
Right.
And that's again why you have to have like at least 2 of any option, and you always do a meat, a veg, and a starch.
Oh, right. So you're always going to have like chicken, whatever.
Basically. Well, and then there's also the oh my god, what's it called? Oh my god, I can't think of the name. But there's a second line of, those stainless steel doolies.
Yeah.
Short order.
Okay.
The short order,
right?
Like at a diner, and on that side, every lunch and every dinner we made burgers, grilled cheese, French fries. They were probably like breaded chicken tenders, basically grilled and fried things that came out of packages.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that there was a guy who ate 2 hot dogs every lunch, every dinner. And he kind of looked like a pig, like in the face. He had a very which
is very weird.
It is very weird.
I love hot dogs.
That's why that's why I'll never forget it.
Huh.
Yeah. So on any given day, if you feel like, eating some junk food, grilled cheese and some French fries or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's like how I'll never forget corn dog Wolverine. I miss that I don't get to see him anymore. He was amazing.
Beck says they would be literal militant vegans.
That's true. Oh, corn dog Wolverine, you sweet spirit.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, but it takes just a second to this understand.
Is what he would do. When I worked at Zipcar and I would take the number 15 to head to downtown. If I had to start in downtown, I'd see this dude every once in a while. And yeah, in one hand, he'd have like his phone or his book. And in the other hand, 3 corn dogs stuck between his fingers, the sticks, and he'd eat them evenly. Like,
oh yeah, that way you've got the same weight distribution throughout your meal.
And he kind of he'd push his fist up when the stick got too long, so he was just because he always wanted to get his corn dog because the stick would get in the way. Right.
Yeah, there's a point where you have to keep pushing the corn dog up the stick, and or push the stick down.
But every time I saw him in my head, I would just start saying Wolverine quotes. In my head, I was like, "Yeah, this would be a good corn dog, bub." Or like, "I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is fried corn dough." He was amazing. I always wonder what happened to him. At least every few weeks, I'd be on the bus. I'm like, "There he is, man! Wolverine corn dog man, corn dog Wolverine."
So fucking weird.
It was so weird.
Meanwhile, Norm says that Corndog Wolverine is the name of his all banjo Letterkenny tribute band.
That works.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good job, Norm.
Yeah. Good job.
Where were we?
I don't know. This is kind of what the show is. There were questions. There was someone asked about.
We do have at least one question. The earliest one was from Brad. I'll do that one.
Yeah.
And he says maybe he's asking the obvious, but how excited are folks getting for Evil Dead Rise?
Dude, Bean's right. This is obvious. Like I'm
maybe
crazy
for you.
Oh yeah, that's all that matters. It's an Evil Dead question. I'm super excited, and the reviews coming out are really strong. Even from fans that get kind of like, And here's the thing: I'm not excited.
I obviously the whole Evil Dead franchise is something that I came to really late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw the first one when I was like 24, 25.
Yeah.
So I am interested, but I'm also actively worried about watching it.
Why?
The trailer.
Oh,
there's
my God.
so much fucking body horror, and I think we've talked about this before. I didn't used to be squeamish about really anything.
Yeah.
But for some reason, all of a sudden, for a couple years now, I cannot look when there is body horror. It's just too uncomfortable.
So that cheese grater scene in the trailer.
Oh God!
So I found out at South by Southwest they were handing out, because they always hand out fun shit at the screeners and stuff. They had bags of shredded flesh.
No,
like they were candy.
Was it? Was like
with a tiny little cheese grater inside, and like they must have been like gummy strips in like jelly blood, and it was like fresh grated. It was like fresh grated flesh.
Oh my God. No, and that sounds awful. That sounds awful to me.
God.
Like I can't even have fun with that. Yeah, like anything else. Just, aliens and slashers. But if I see somebody doing something to a body or something really weird and freaky happening to a body, it makes me really uncomfortable.
I'm trying to find that now.
I think maybe as I get older, I'm just, creeping towards that whole like fearing your own mortality thing.
Yeah.
And that's new for me.
Which might be why I actually kind of like these movies in a weird, twisted way. It all depends what mood I'm in too. Like the original Raimi Evil Dead, like people like to laugh at it. It's cheesy. And you're like, they did it with no budget. Like it's still horrifying. It's just that the filming technique was so crude. I mean, his camera work is brilliant, but none of them are real actors yet. Like a lot of them are still students. Bruce Campbell was probably the best actor out of all of them. Even he's like, yeah, after this movie, I started taking the craft seriously, kind of thing.
Huh.
And it's got like claymation melting. Yeah, but it's still amazing. Evil Dead 2 is the same movie, but it's the Three Stooges.
What?
Basically.
You've probably said this before. But
yeah, no, Raimi's even said he loves the Three Stooges. That's basically what it was. Evil Dead 2 is usually the movie I watch when I'm having a bad day, because no matter how bad my day was, Ashes was worse. Army of Darkness is just Jason and the Argonauts with the Necronomicon.
And then there's the show.
The show, which is fucking brilliant. It was wonderful in every way. And then the remake of Evil Dead, it's good. They could have done something else than the tree scene again to possess Mia. I was like, because even Sam has been like, if I could go back and reshoot that scene, I would do it. He's like, but I was, 19 and we didn't think that way. And we were a bunch of kids and we were all down for it. He's like, in retrospect, probably shouldn't have had that scene. So when that movie got mad, I was like, oh, you're going to possess her like in a different way. And I'm like, oh, nope, doing the same thing. Okay. But other than that,
but whose choice was that?
It would be the director's, probably. The writer. Yeah, because I mean, Raimi and them were like listed as producers, but Raimi's always said if someone else does Evil Dead, he'll let them do it.
Fede Alvarez is the director. He did the screenplay.
Yeah.
And a bunch of there's a goodly number of names on here I don't know. But
Yeah. But the woman who played Mia she was amazing. I really hope she's got a cameo in the next one. She was great. They also did a good job of. There's always that thing of like, why don't you guys just leave? Like if it's this bad, just fucking leave.
Right.
The first Evil Dead fixes that by knocking out the bridge. They can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
The remake does the same thing. The river floods. You can't cross it, otherwise it'll sweep you away. Like, all right, you're trapped. I'm not sure how Rise is going to be for sure, other than it's getting really good reviews. So no, I'm pumped for it. I'm super jazzed for it.
I'm definitely gonna go see it. I'm just gonna be really uncomfortable watching it.
That's fine.
And I mean that's the point, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't scare easily. I've been watching horror films since before puberty. And those like 70s and 80s movies, super duper not for kids, and not just because of the horror.
Right. Yeah, a lot of reasons why.
Yeah. So it's not that. It's just I'm just like, oh god, I can feel it in my brain.
I can too, but I'm getting those happy like, oh boy.
No, I'm getting uncomfortable.
Raimi's even said, he's like, people who watch Evil Dead movies, he's like, those films need to punish the audience.
Right, that was his goal. Mission accomplished, sir.
The main characters and the audience must both be punished for going through this.
Isn't he also in charge of like Spy Kids?
No, that's Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, right. Okay, never mind.
No, he's never done like kid movies. He's done more family friendly stuff for sure. Like he did The Great Oz, which wasn't that good. I love Sam Raimi. Sometimes he's better with a lower budget.
He did some Spider-Mans. He
did do all the Spider-Mans. The first Sony Spider-Mans.
He did Darkman.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that when I was a kid.
Darkman's fun.
Familiar. And speaking of his other movies, I'm now reminded that I did say I need to watch Drag Me to Hell again, because as we've discussed many times, I did not appreciate it at all the first time I watched it.
Okay.
And apparently I'm dead wrong.
Yes.
And I'm willing to admit that.
You and Greg Nibbler.
Well, I don't know what Greg's reasons are.
He told me why. He was annoyed that the girl got dragged to hell in the end. He's like, what's the point of this movie? He's like, I feel like I was ripped off. I was like, dude, it's in the title. Drag me to hell.
Ripped off? That doesn't make sense to me.
I think Greg likes. I think he likes happy endings, even in horror. And I never want a happy ending in horror. The ending of The Descent, when the darkness just closes in on her.
Cable and I, we had a conversation, I guess the time that he was here and you were not, and I was talking about, like, I fucking love the bleaker the better. I'm just like, nom, 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 nom. And I think he interpreted that as like really depressing movies or something like that. But what I meant, and we never got back around to it, is movies like The Descent. It's technically a horror film, but the ending is like so wonderfully devastating.
Yeah,
that's what I love.
Yeah. I'm so twisted. I love the ending of The Mist.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
The worst part? Spoilers. The worst part is not that he kills his kid and the other people in the truck.
It's that he never needed to.
He never needed to. The woman at the very beginning who says, "Won't someone help a woman home?" She's on the truck watching him. I'm like, oh yes. Norm, Greg hated Drag Me to Hell way before he got carjacked in a Burgerville. I don't think those two are connected.
No.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for it. There's a lot of movies coming out within basically the next 30 days.
What else?
I think John Wick 4 is this Friday.
Oh, I know it's soon because they were talking about how Lance Reddick had eschewed some of the appearances for the press tour. But
I'm excited for it. John Wick 3 was very disappointing to me. And I don't go into this because there are people that have very specific opinions on which John Wick is the best one. And instead of having like real conversations about it, they get like mean.
Hmm.
You know, like, no, John Wick 3 was the best one because you don't fucking understand. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a non-starter in debating a movie. It is my least favorite because I feel like it kind of goes off the rails for character and world. Like it.
Is that the one that has? It is the one with Halle Berry.
Yeah.
I just could not buy her as that character.
Yeah, that was also a hard sell.
I have a really low threshold for Halle Berry. Like, it's meeting the demands of a role.
That's fair.
I'm sure that's biased. I'm sure that like she's done great work in other stuff, but ever since Catwoman, I'm like, nope, terrible actress.
Yeah,
not going to discuss it.
My biggest issue with the John Wick movies, and this is nitpicking because they're all still entertaining as hell, but by 3, it was just the plot only existed to get from one action sequence to another, more and more outlandish,
and that's so big.
It got too big. And that's not the point of the first 2. The first 2 are very deeply personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3, it just goes bonkers. And I'm really afraid that 4 is going to do that too.
Right.
But I've heard it does. I don't know.
I mean, it seems like with that level of world building, it seems more to me like, you know what? Keanu's not going to want to do this forever, but this is fucking gold here. This is this prints money. So we got to like expand it so that there can be connectivity to other characters and different movies.
Well, they were going to do that. I think they still might. A TV series is called The Continental.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just announced another spinoff movie, I think just called The Ballerina, all around. Again, that was just so over the top. When Angelica Houston ran the Russian ballerina hit woman place.
It's also a little cliche. The Russian ballerina hit woman.
It was a bit much. Yeah. Yeah. Brad's like, they tried to build a bigger mythology and it didn't really work well. Yeah. So I hope 4 is better.
Agreed, I guess. It sounds like we all agree on that.
And then
I'm not going to not see the next one, but.
And then like, since the announcement of the D&D movie, I've had trepidation because I'm like,
I never got around to reading exactly what that whole situation was.
What?
The whole D&D, what is it, license?
Oh, I don't even mean that part.
Oh, not that?
I just mean the fact that, like, historically, Dungeons and Dragons and media adaptations they do not have a good track record. The 80s cartoon was probably the greatest, like, D&D translating to another medium ever. And even by 80s cartoon standards, like, it's not that good. We are all looking through it through the thickest of nostalgia lenses. Just the thickest of lenses, you know? But then, like, that first trailer came out, and I was like, well, fuck, that kind of looks fun. You know, and you use a Led Zeppelin song about fucking, which was hilarious. But okay, it's got a really good guitar riff for playing D&D. And then there was the international trailer that was good, and then they did that fucking scene that they showed with them using the Speak with Dead spell. And it was hilarious because it felt like I was watching. It felt like someone had set up a camera at the gaming table. By the way, the characters interacted in the scene. I was like, oh man. But then I started getting really good reviews. Like, it's holding it like, I think like 85 on Rotten Tomatoes right now after like multiple screenings now. A reviewer whose stuff I really appreciate, he lives in the LA area. He basically said, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, but fantasy. Like, that's the level of energy.
I did hear something like that.
I was like, okay.
It looks like it's going to be a fun and funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one particular actress in that I
know you do not like her, right?
I don't know who you think I'm talking about, but I'm talking about. I think she plays the druid.
Oh, okay. Then we're not
the younger one. Her name is Sophia Lillis.
Okay.
And she's been in a number of things that I've seen in, and that I've seen her in, and I really enjoy her.
Okay.
She's probably most famous for It. She plays the young version of the one girl in the group. But she's done a couple other things that I really enjoyed.
Okay. I'm used to people really hating Michelle Rodriguez.
I don't hate her. But I do feel like I don't like her personality.
I feel like Michelle Rodriguez knows what she wants, and she's not gonna like pussyfoot around it.
And I respect that. You know what part of it
but
is?
I think really quick, I think part of it is that she doesn't have any tact. It's just that was bullshit. Instead of being like, hey, we should talk about this. That's bullshit.
Right. And maybe that's what, I mean, I also am going to do that, whether I mean to or not. Another thing that I think is a bit of an issue is like when I was younger, it was always Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
And later on, it became Michelle Rodriguez as like, there's one brown woman in Hollywood ever, and you will always be compared to her because you are also a brown girl.
Right. Oh, I could see that. Sure.
So that's probably part of it.
Well, for the next generation, it's going to be Jenna Ortega is going to get compared to. She'll be the next one.
I'm too old to be compared.
That's what I mean.
Now,
It's
so,
like,
yeah.
But I'm super pumped for it. Like it looks ridiculous, but in the great way. And like even like the marketing Paramount's doing is pretty smart. Like I'll see some of the TikTok, like clips or whatever. And one of them is like, it's like, they'll put the quotes up like, show me, blah, blah, blah. And then the video does whatever. One of them is like this woman saying, oh yeah, no, I'm totally going to the D&D movie for the plot. And it's nothing but scenes of the guy who's the paladin and Chris Pine, like moving slowly and strutting. And they're like, you're coming for the plot. Okay. It just looks like fun. I'm super pumped for it. I think it's going to be a blast. And also really quick, I mentioned this on Twitter, I think a couple days ago, like kudos to Wizards of the Coast for doing what the comic industry never does when a movie's coming out.
And actually promote it?
And making it accessible. If you go on a D&D Beyond right now, every front page article is basically like building your first character, running your first game, 101s on a cleric, 101s on a barbarian. Like it's designed for, what is this Dungeons and Dragons?
That's smart.
Yep.
I'm like, I guess I don't know off the top of my head what it normally starts with when you first,
it's always articles, but
website.
It's like whatever the next like Unearthed Arcana is. They're very like crunch heavy. It's with the assumption that
what you're doing.
And right now it's a landing page for like, does this movie look fun? Are you curious about the game and all the inside jokes?
Right, the little starter set.
Yep. No, they're leading right into it.
That is pretty damn smart. Oh, and there we go. Here's some stuff that ties in directly to Honor Among Thieves.
Oh, they made characters for them that you can download for free on D&D Beyond.
Bring the crew to your game.
Yep.
That is very clever.
Yes. If only comics could figure that out. Like, I mean, by that, I mean DC and Marvel, like figuring that out.
Like, yeah, not everyone has a friend like you. When I like what you told me which Guardians of the Galaxy issues would be really great in terms of like, oh, that was a fun movie. How about more of that? Like
the fact that when like the Winter Soldier or Civil War came out, you couldn't buy Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It was out of print. Like why? Like the moment the teaser drops, those publishers should have those books out the door with like a thing on the cover that says, the story that inspired ...
Yeah.
And they don't do that. They never, ever do that. Ever.
I don't know. When you're like top dog in an industry for so long, you kind of stop trying. You're like, they'll come to us.
And they don't. I mean, but yeah, anyway.
I don't know.
Although speaking about promoting, I'm trying to get Season of the Bruja nominated for the Ringo Awards.
Cast my ballot.
Thanks. So yeah, if you go to any of my socials, right? Well, Twitter and Facebook, it's like the top. It's the pinned post, and you'll see all the categories that I'm trying to get us nominated for. The nominations are open to anyone. You don't have to be in the industry because it's done by fans. If any of it makes a nomination, that's done by industry people. Like you kind of have to verify what you've done. But nominations can be done by anyone. So that would be very cool. Drop that link.
Vamp.
Vamp.
I was talking to myself. Nothing makes it harder to think of something to vamp with than being told to vamp. Mm-hmm. I am looking at the list of movies that are coming out soon. And I think we covered the two that are going to be most interesting to us, which is the D&D and the John Wick ones. The rest of the stuff not so well. Creed is on there. I know you're into that franchise.
Yeah.
But here I'm reminded of one that I saw a trailer for the other day, and I immediately started having flashbacks, and I don't know whether to be like, like interested, like you've piqued my interest, or just go ahead and just go straight to like fury.
Okay.
Tetris, the movie.
I'm super curious. It's not what you think. It's like a Cold War drama. It's about what Nintendo and US did to acquire the rights for Tetris in Soviet Russia.
Wow, that does not feel like the trailer that I watched.
Yeah. No, the one on Apple, like the Apple Plus movie?
I don't actually know.
Yeah. No, I'm super pumped for that.
Yes, it is on Apple.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like a Cold War drama. Well, very comedic though.
I see. Maybe it didn't have my full attention, and what I gleaned was, oh no, it's another Pixels.
No.
And that's why I was like, fuck this. Fuck everything.
No, not at all.
No, it's more of a like docudrama.
Yes, but I think also much more humorous, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I was trying to put the image in the Twitch chat, but you can't do that.
I don't know if you can do that.
No, you can't.
Okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
I'm expecting like a kind of a more For All Mankind kind of vibe, but funnier. For All Mankind's not that funny.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's not meant to be.
No. No, I'm super pumped for that for sure. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I still haven't watched beyond, I think, episode 3 of The Last of Us because I just can't. It's great. I can't. I will eventually because I like both of the performers in it. I just can't do it. It's just the game broke my heart so much that I don't think I can go through it with the show now.
And see, that's like me again with the the sadder the better.
You should play the game.
I've been meaning to play the game for years. I've known for a very long time that it is a top quality, excellent storytelling game. I don't do a lot of console gaming.
All right.
If they put it on Switch, there's a better chance.
I mean, get Christian to play it and just watch it.
No, I hate that. I hate that
really?
so much. I don't understand how people enjoy that. My sister used to do that when we were back at home with the PlayStation. Oh. I would play, Final Fantasy or whatever, and she would just watch. I mean, like it's the story and shit, but I cannot understand that. I would be so fucking bored to tears. 2-player, get the fuck out.
I have a friend who used to love watching me play the Resident Evil games. And they'd be like, oh shit, because they treated it like a movie. To them, it was like watching a movie where I was controlling the main character, and they'd be like, don't fucking I
mean, I guess I get it, but to me, in my mind, video games are an activity that you participate in.
Right.
No, I'd rather be playing my own game or do something else.
That's fair. Yeah, Nora mentioned, Strange New World starts filming season 3.
Woo!
So yeah, we're getting another season for that, definitely.
Are you caught up on Picard?
Heck yeah. Are you?
Pretty sure. I think so. It's like 4 episodes, right?
5.
Let me look at the episode list. Oh no!
Even saying
I have a
person is a major spoiler.
I have a new app, and it helps me track what episodes I've seen of the different shows that I'm watching. It's kind of the best thing ever. I super duper needed it in my life. Picard. Okay, yeah, I've seen all 5 episodes.
Okay.
But if there's spoilers, we should probably hold off in case anyone in the who's listening isn't caught up.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do it. I'll talk about it next week because that's a full week. So by then I feel okay talking about it. Although I have to do my no spoiler subspace review on my Substack because I've been reviewing the show without any spoilers, which is getting harder and harder.
Yeah. It really is. TNG.
Yeah.
And I'm
all good things. They literally sailed off into the sunset. But the original series, Star Trek VI, is the goodbye. Like they says goodbyes, flies off into space, and it ends with their signatures. Like it's beautiful. TNG never got that. In fact, it ended with Nemesis, which is barely ahead of Into Darkness as the worst Trek movie ever made.
I don't remember much about it. I saw it as a kid, if I saw it at all.
It was also the only Star Trek movie in the history of Star Trek to not debut at #1 its opening weekend. It was beat by Maid in Manhattan.
I know I saw that.
The
I fell back in time.
Yeah, where she plays a maid and like the billionaire falls in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was back to back with the one where
I
titled The Wedding Planner.
I believe someone reviewed it once as the Puerto Rican Pretty Woman. I was like, I mean, she's not a prostitute, but other than that, it's the same story.
Yep, that is an accurate summary of that movie.
But yeah, it beat Star Trek Nemesis in the opening weekend. So yeah, we're getting that cast getting the goodbye they never got.
Yeah. And this is their last season, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is a good use of your time, sirs.
And I loved Captain Shaw the first time I saw him because I kind of like the curmudgeon dickhead that puts Picard and Riker in their place. But now I really love him.
I did not care for him as much at first. I'm like, I mean, like I know you got to have a foil somewhere in there, right? But yes, once you get to know him a little better, you're like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I don't have to like it, but I can respect it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But then that speech he gave about Wolf 359.
The thing that like is always coming back to haunt him.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like not the premise, but the opening scene of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
is Wolf 359.
Yeah. That's the thing I read too. Like someone was like, "Why isn't Shaw over it? Sisko's over it." And you're like, "Well, first we got to see 7 seasons of Sisko quote getting over it."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like the way it's written, Sean was like he got a quick psych evaluation because he survived and he was thrown back out.
What must that be like?
Exactly.
No, it's good commentary.
That's what I mean.
More
I'm like,
often than not, those things don't get handled and you never get over it.
No, yeah. And also Sisko, depending on your point of view, had regular interventions by gods to help him get over it. Quote, get over it.
Yeah,
and he never really did because one of the prophets was always his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Anyway, I love Shaw. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, they really fleshed him out.
I don't know if you saw the meme, and we should probably get close to wrapping it up too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a meme of Shaw where like it's because the Titan, one of the complaints that the Titan Bridge is so dark. So I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen some memes. I don't know if I've seen the one you're talking about.
They're like, Shaw, why is your bridge so dark? And he's like, well, Enterprise D looked like a hotel lobby. He's like, and in, the Kelvin timeline where Apple won all the wars, he's like, I thought I would change things up. And then he looks at Picard. Then the meme looks at Picard and says, but what do I know, Jean-Luc? You're the one who knows everything about lights.
I have seen it, but I wanted to let you finish.
Okay, thanks.
Because it is good.
Yeah.
It is good. All right, let's start wrapping up then here. Do you have any other stuff that you definitely wanted to share this week?
I mean, other than, yes, please vote for Season of the Bruja in the Ringo Awards. If you go to my Facebook page or if you go to my Twitter page, it's the pinned one. I even put a QR code on there. So even if you don't have the link, you can scan the QR code and it goes right to where you vote.
Technology.
And you have to type it all in. There's no drop downs right now. You just type in at the categories that I listed.
Just copy paste.
Well, they're separate they're separate categories. So you can't just type it all in one big block. So they have the best writer.
But yeah, if you type it once, you copy it, and then you paste that
Okay,
into
that's true.
each field where it applies.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just trying to save the listeners some time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that would be really cool, everybody. That would be awesome. Yeah.
I might be losing my connection. So with that.
Oh, shit. Okay. I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm being Rita.
And we'll talk to everybody next week.
Thanks.
Do something. Bye, everybody.
Wonder if you're